You wire $50,000 halfway across the world for a massive inventory run, and weeks later, your entire investment shatters. The product is defective, the supplier stops answering emails, and your business is dead before it even started. Finding a vendor on Alibaba and placing an initial order is the easy part. The true difficulty begins when you try to scale that transaction into a sustainable business. The relationship almost always starts perfectly. You connect with a representative who speaks flawless English, replies to your messages in minutes, and ships you a golden sample, a prototype so highly polished it practically sells itself. By the third or fourth production run, reality sets in. Customers start leaving one-star reviews, returns pile up, and you realize defect rates have spiked to 20 or 30%. While you scramble to issue refunds, you spot your exact product design ranking on the first page of Amazon, selling for half your retail price under a brand name you've never heard of. Meanwhile, your factory contact has completely stopped responding. Aggressively pursuing the lowest possible unit cost often forces you into a rigged economic game, one where the rules are hidden from the buyer until the money is already gone. Those glossy gold supplier and verified manufacturer badges you see on sourcing platforms are often illusions. Behind those digital storefronts, you are rarely talking to the people who actually own the assembly lines. You are likely dealing with a trading company. These are intermediary brokers operating out of high-rise downtown corporate offices, far away from actual manufacturing equipment. The broker skims a heavy percentage of your budget as their fee. To maximize their own margins, they take whatever is left and quietly outsource your order to the cheapest, least regulated workshop they can find. To strip away the facade, ask the supplier for their official Chinese business license. Look at the exact text printed under the business scope section. If it lists terms like trading or sales agency rather than production or manufacturing, you are dealing with a middleman. Force your contact to provide a live, unscripted video walkthrough of the factory floor right now. A real manufacturer will gladly walk over to the machines a visit. Operating through a phantom middleman means surrendering all visibility. You have zero control over materials, the safety of the workers, or the actual origin. Even if you bypass the brokers and find a legitimate factory, a persistent mystery remains. Why does a supplier capable of engineering a flawless initial production run start shipping outright garbage by the fourth order? Chinese manufacturers are currently locked in a brutal domestic price war known as involution, or neizhuan. This environment of extreme overcapacity forces domestic factories to aggressively undercut each other until they are operating at near zero profit margins. When a factory is starving for cash but locked into a fixed contract price, they deploy an intentional, secretive survival strategy called quality fade. Quality fade is the gradual substitution of cheaper inputs over time, like swapping copper for aluminum to recover profit margins. Because the degradations are so small, the product passes standard visual inspections until the structural integrity fails completely for your customer. Pushing a manufacturer to accept a unit price well below the standard market rate creates a scenario where quality fade becomes their only survival path. They will recover their margin. The only question is which parts of your product they hollow out to do it. Material degradation does not explain how an unknown brand acquired your proprietary product design and listed it online for a fraction of the cost. In most cases, your designs weren't hacked or leaked. They were handed over voluntarily to the very people now competing against you. This is known in the industry as the ghost shift. The factory runs your official order during normal daylight hours, then restarts the machines at midnight, running the assembly lines off the books to pump out thousands of unauthorized units for themselves. For the factory owner, this is highly profitable. They already possess your engineering blueprints, your custom steel molds, and the established component supply chain. You paid for all the research, dropping their barrier to entry to zero. By providing custom molds and proprietary blueprints without strict controls, You are effectively subsidizing a contractor to build their own brand using your intellectual property. Surviving this sprawling global ecosystem requires abandoning the Western concept of doing business on a handshake. You cannot rely on trust. You can only rely on absolute, verifiable control over your supply chain. That means deploying specialized legal armor. You need China-centric NNN agreements, non-disclosure, non-use, and non-circumvention, paired with explicit mold ownership contracts to legally block ghost shifts before they start. In the complex theater of overseas manufacturing, assumed control is a dangerous illusion. Contracts are only a starting point. Relentless physical verification of your materials, your partners, and your assets is the only valid business strategy. Failing to investigate these hidden mechanics guarantees that your investment will simply evaporate on the factory floor. If you want to understand the unvarnished realities of global business, hit subscribe. We have a lot more ground to cover.